All right, everybody, let's do an audio and visual check. How's everybody doing on this beautiful Sunday evening? Depending on where you're at from around the world, I guess. It might even be Monday for you. Might even be Monday. Give me a few moments while I get everything set up. Check in. How is everybody doing? Good, good. Bernie, number one. All good in Houston. Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon. Monday there. Sunday night, depending on where you're at from around the world. So let's get started. Welcome. I'm Coach Dakota, Coach TBA. As always, in the YouTube chat, there is our top step risk disclosure. Everything I go over is for educational purposes only. It's not financial advice, and it's not a signals class. That's why I post that risk disclosure every single night. The Nightbot also, shares it every once in a while. And before I get too caught up, let me get the rest. Let's get the rest. I'll wait a moment. We'll wait till everyone starts to join. See, everyone kind of piles in at the top of the hour, right? So in like 20 minutes or so. Let's take a look at this NASDAQ daily chart. Then we'll take a look at gold, maybe check some other markets to see how everything is. But before we do that, the first thing I like to do, let's take a look at what news. Let's take a look at the events coming out. Tomorrow is August 4th. We have the U.S. factory orders. We have Bank of Japan meeting minutes. But other than that, not too busy for a Monday. Not too busy for a Monday. Tuesday, we have the U.S. trade balance. We have some PMI coming out. Earnings are still coming out. We're still in the middle of earnings season, right? Where we have AMD earnings. That's going to be a market mover for the NASDAQ, Pfizer, Caterpillar. And then we move on to the 6th, which will have a lot of Fed speakers, more earnings, lots of earnings this week. We're going to see how, this week, all these earnings, see how they're talking about inflation in the earnings calls, all that fun stuff. And then jobless claims, and yeah, not too crazy. Man, how long are we going to see this tariff deadline? How long are we going to see this U.S. tariff deadline? It always seems to be a tariff deadline. Every week they push it out. They kick the can. It's always approaching us. Tariff deadline. And then, so not too crazy. Not as crazy as last week anyway. Just earnings, who knows what could happen, right? It's a game. Yeah, it's a game. So let's take a look at the NASDAQ daily chart. We got a pullback. Finally, this is a violent pullback. And that's usually what happens, right? This is a good definition. And this is a very visual example of when you hear someone say, stair step up, right? Let's move on to this drawing tool where we're kind of just stair stepping up, and then just elevator down, right? Stair step up, elevator down. This is normal in these markets. It's normal in the markets. You see it all the time. Look back here, stair step up, elevator down. A lot. I see it over and over and over again. There's kind of the fear versus greed versus grinding up. And so where are we at now? What are we looking for going into this week with the earnings call and all the earnings coming out? And I don't know. Is this deep enough of a pullback from all-time highs here in the NASDAQ? Let's take a look. That's 4%. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. That's kind of what I was looking for. I moved some money around in my personal account. I have had money on the sidelines, tied up in some more secure, boring stuff like a CD or a money market account, just waiting, and finally getting a decent pullback. So let's go ahead and do what I like to do, and I like to measure these moves. When we do get a pullback, how far do we get those pullbacks? So let's just go through and get a few examples on some of these pullbacks when we were making all-time highs, and what can we expect? What can we expect when we get a pullback like we see today? and kind of giving a rough idea about where we are at. So what I like to do is I'll come through and I'll measure these pullbacks, these sell-offs here in the NASDAQ, and I'll try and get a decent average. So here's a good example of what I like to do. Trust me, I do this, relatively often. I want to do it a lot more. Take notes. Take notes. This is very important. It's very important the way I see the market anyway. And you could just kind of see how I'm just taking these measurements of about an average pullback. This is very volatile. This is very volatile times. So let's continue to see on an average pullback. What are we typically getting here in the NASDAQ? All right. So that's about an average. I think there's a couple, obviously, during this very, very volatile time. Can that be an exception? Sure. Why not? And then this is kind of just eyeballing it, right? It's new to you. It's new to you. I've done it before. Coach Jay, I've been doing this since I started trading. Like, this is one of the things that I like to just measure. I measure on average, what's an average measured move when it comes to these markets. I'll kind of just, and it's not rocket science. You could go through and you could get as in depth as you want. You could go through and actually measure them and calculate, add them together, divide it by how many measurements that you got. I like to just be very rough with it and say, on average, about how far do we move? That's pretty dang close. This is about as close as I like. It's give or take. It's like zones, right? Support and resistance zones. It's not an exact. I'm okay with this. Someone says you could just use ATR indicator. Not really. I'm not really okay with ATR. Just because, the ATR during this period of time, right? This period of time might be different because this doesn't happen very often, right? This doesn't happen very often. It happens, last time we had a pullback this size was back here in April. That was some crazy volatility. But then when the market was acting normal, right? The market was acting normal. We started to get pullbacks similar to this. So I want, as a trader, I want something that I can have a decent comparison to, not something where the market's acting extremely volatile, not where it's acting just kind of sideways drifting up, but something that I can have a decent reference point. So let's take a look at this and let's see at measured. So that's a decent rough. I'm right there, right at, wow. Wow, I did not plan that. It's about 1,000 points. 1,000 points in NASDAQ, about just over 4%, right? 4 1/3. And it's kind of what I was looking at. I've been waiting for a 3.5% to 5% drop. Sometimes we have decent pullbacks in these markets. So about a 5% drop. Another thing that I was going to point out, and another thing that I do like, is there's a nice level of support. There was a nice level of support here back at the beginning and middle of July, and we sold off there very violently. We sold off the past 2 days, so I was at Thursday and Friday, and we basically went straight down there to those 22,800s. If you remember, I was talking with Coach Jay, I think it was Wednesday, and even Barron on Thursday, like what's some of the targets to the downside? 23,100s. We had the level of support, support in this level, and we just blew through everything, all the way down to these 22,800s. I'm happy to see this pullback. Like I said, a lot of, I freed up some cash. It's time to get cash on the sidelines, getting it ready to be put to work. Now, I'm not one for just jumping all in, right? Where it's like, okay, this is a good level, just jump all in. I like to just dip my feet into it, dip your toes, slowly get used to the sell-off, because this sell-off could continue, right? We've seen what happened on some of these pullbacks, that it could get very violent and we could continue to sell down. It's like when, this common saying, buy the dip, right? Buy the dip. Well, you don't know how big the dip is, and you don't know if the dip keeps on dipping. I've personally have had caught in a very bad situation where you buy the dip, but then the dip keeps dipping, and then you buy that dip, and then it dips even more. So I think there's a correct way on doing so. And this is I'm talking the daily, and then I'll zoom in, and a lot of this, what I'm talking about still applies to those lower time frames. It just happens faster, right? A daily chart, you get one candlestick every day. So it might be happening, this type of a move in like a week or two, and then looking for, 1 or 2 months out, right? And then as we start to zoom in, like the 5-minute time frame, you're looking for that to come to a conclusion that same day, going to that day trading, right? So we are at this level of support, 22,800. You can see some buyers stepping in tonight. Tonight we are seeing some buyers definitely step in from that lower level. Let's go ahead and zoom into an hourly chart. Let's take a look at this hourly chart, and yeah, sure enough, right? That was the daily. This is an hourly. We can see that same level right here where all the buyers have been a nice level of support, 22,800, and that held very, very nicely on Friday and even tonight. And this is a very, very good looking chart when it comes to support. And the next, zooming in, first thing I noticed is take a look at this candlestick. This is the first thing that I am noticing is this candlestick where that is the lowest low on the hourly chart. And so, 3-bar reversal on an hourly chart would be if we can break through this top level up here at these highs. So if this market can break through these 22,900s, I could definitely see this market possibly making a run up towards this 23,000 level, right? 23,000 is a big round number. It's a big round number, and we know how markets like big round numbers. So if the NASDAQ could break through these 940s, maybe we could run up to these 23,000, maybe lower 23,000. It's a nice support and resistance zone. You can see how it became, this was support, 23,050s. This is zone. Support then became resistance, right? Support, resistance. Support, resistance, and now we are back down here. This is acting as resistance. We have to get over that first. Tonight, the NASDAQ's already up 0.21%, right? 0.21%. So can this market just rally? I'm gonna err on the side of no, but you never know. Anything can happen, right? I would be on the side of I'm not gonna expect another, almost 0.5%, less than 0.5% just tonight. It can. We've seen it before, but I would kind of lean towards, more of a consolidating, chop pattern going into tomorrow. But like I said, anything can happen. Let's zoom into a 5-minute chart, and then we'll switch it over to gold. Maybe we could get to some questions. Maybe we get to some questions after that. And look, every single time I go through this is a great example of markets are fractal. Remember the hourly candlestick? That one I was pointing out? Look, that's basically it, right? That's basically what I'm looking at. See the hourly candlestick. We zoom out to the hourly chart. See how that kind of highlighted? Wow, that worked out pretty well. That's a good example. Clip this, take some notes. But yeah, there's an hourly candlestick, the low of it, the high of it. And then when we zoom into a 5-minute chart, sure enough, right? Sure enough, there's the low, that pivot low, there's that pivot high, and you could see that it is acting as resistance, And if we do break out through this, then there's that decent chance to go right up to that level I was pointing out on the higher time frame, come up here and maybe test these highs, 23,000, that big round number's sitting basically right there. And so maybe we do come up and test this. Can we test it overnight during the London session, or are we going to wait to the New York session? Not sure. Something I'm paying attention to. On the opposite side, we could just be bouncing off this resistance and come back down and retest. I don't know. Maybe we can retest these lows. It looks like we opened up, we gapped down, we filled that gap, and we could even go to these 870s. So let's get to a few questions, and we'll hop over to gold. Whew, that was a lot. That was a good. Thoughts on that analysis, everybody? Let's get your honest, true opinion. And while we do that, let's see if we could do a hashtag. Let's see if we can do a hashtag slow markets. There is the Twitter, the X. There is, if you want to do a hashtag slow markets there. And then, of course, I'm going to be putting and pinning this. Great overview. Liked it. Good lesson. Need a deeper class on my analysis? I mean, it's the same analysis I do every night. I think I'm going to do a little bit better going in depth like that. We're finally getting some great price action from a technicals perspective. And that's the way I view the market. That was a good top-down overview of how I like to read the market. So let me get one more thing set up. Seeing the same levels? Yeah. Now, another thing is you see those levels, you place a trade off of it, and then you put your stop loss and your entry, right? You put your entry where your stop loss is. Right? That could be it. That could definitely be it. Let me put a... Oh, I got to make sure I'm doing the right one. I got to pin the Insta. Pin the Insta right there. So let's there. So that's basically it. That's what I'm looking for tonight. It looks like we're trying to break out right here, right now in the NASDAQ. And so let's review gold. I'm going to review gold. It's the same way. Every single night since I've been here on Topstep, I've been explaining and doing the same thing every single night. Yeah. I hope that makes sense. It really has. Same thing, night in, night out. I had a conversation. Look at this market start to break out. We're starting to break out. So, if you're short, could be a decent place where a lot of traders that are short, maybe they have their stop losses right above this. And if you're looking to get short, could a stop loss be a better entry? Maybe that's definitely a possibility. So let's just see how it plays out. While we do that, let's move over to gold. Then we'll get to a few more housekeeping things, and we're going to talk statistics. See what's on here, right? Combine counter. Look, there's for transparency. There's for transparency. Same accounts. Combine counter still at 5. We'll review statistics. I'll answer questions. We know how the internet can be with all the trolls and the drama, but let's do that same thing on the gold. The gold, I mean, look how kind of choppy. Look how choppy gold has been. Comparing that to the NASDAQ, and now we're looking at gold. This is daily chart on gold. Lots of chop around this, 2,400 to 24. I mean, we're in a range, right? We're range bound here in gold. And so let's zoom into an hourly chart. Let's take a look at the hourly chart, and we did bounce off these lows. We bounced off these 3320s, and so are we headed right back up to these highs? Are we headed right back up to these 3500s? That could be possible, right? So we have a nice sell-off in equities, and so the fact that we came down here and test these 3320s, can we see 3500s? That could be possible. Could we be in buy the dip mode here in gold? I mean, you could see that we were in a nice downtrend for a week or so, and we just broke out. We had that nice breakout, it looks like, on the first of the month, and now we had that has a big breakout that we had on gold. And so I think what I'm looking for in gold is a pullback to buy. It's a pullback to buy here in gold. So we had a breakout. What I want to see is a pullback. Where do we get this pullback? I mean, anyone know? It's anybody's guess. And then I'm going to be looking for higher lows, higher highs. So similar, it's same technicals. You can see on our way down, we're making, lower highs, right? Lower highs, lower highs. We're making lower lows. And so we were in a clear and obvious downtrend, based off this time frame. And so I'm going to be looking for the opposite to happen now. Maybe we do get up to this 3,500 level. After we get some type of a pullback, maybe a dip to buy, where could we find buyers? Well, the first area of support that I'm actually looking at is going to be, basically these 3390s. Maybe this 3390 zone, this level, could be a possibility if this market does sell off. Maybe we don't even sell off all the way to get that. Gold's positive for tonight already. It looks like gold's up 0.15. Gold's up 0.15. That's just a big candle. That is a big candle for gold on that. I mean, we might even, I wouldn't be too picky. There could be a possibility for these 3400s, I mean, we might be getting close now. That could be a close possibility. I'd prefer 3390. Those lower 3390s. You can see whenever we've popped up into this area, we've had some selling pressure, right? Some selling pressure, sometimes back down here to these 33 upper 80s, 3390s could be a possibility. There's lots of nice buyers stepping in on up there here in these 3390s. So we could see it again. We could see that act again. And so let's take a look on a 5-minute chart. Let's see, 5-minute, where are we at tonight? It looks like we opened up way up here. We opened up, spiked all the way up to these 34.23, almost 24, rejected, almost a head and shoulders pattern maybe, right? Head and shoulders, can that be classified in head and shoulders? I don't know. This was a nice level of resistance here on the first. Resistance tried to become support, but then we broke down through that. The next one I'm starting to see would possibly, this would be the next major one there. Some simple, just very simple, basic, straightforward technicals. Just seeing just these different levels of support. This is a 5-minute chart now. And then you can see how much of a difference it is on the hourly chart, right? This is an hourly chart. And you can see how, on the hourly chart, those same levels. This one's a bigger one down here at these. Yeah, I just want a deeper pullback here on gold. Deeper pullback here on gold. I mean, you could probably do the same thing. When gold pulls back, how often does it pull back? Well, I'd love to see something like this. I'd love to see something like this where we make these higher lows, and then we make these higher highs, and then we could find a nice trend to buy the dip on. So if we do see something like that over here, maybe we do wait and see if we can make these higher lows, and then we could find a nice trend to be, a dip buyer in. Take a look at those drawing skills. Yeah, I've been practicing, okay, chat? I've been practicing on these drawing skills. Okay, let's get to some questions. I'm going to be monitoring gold. Typically see a little bit more, volume come in here at the top of the hour, so in about 5 minutes. Yeah, pro drawing. It's like paint. Well, yeah, DBA concepts. The artworks, I mean, A for the artwork. If there's nothing else going on for tonight, the artwork was worth tuning in. The artwork was worth tuning in. All right, let's get to some of these questions. Let's get to some of this hashtag slow markets. First of all, there is the Gary. Gary, looks like you're trading the NASDAQ, long NASDAQ. It was up $72, looking good. I like that. Go through. I'll always do the hashtag slow markets on Twitter. My Instagram that is pinned to the top of this YouTube chat. My Doom, Microsoft Paint, Picasso. Yeah, it's Picasso with the chart here on Topstep X. And yeah, you should try CAD, cardboard added design. Let's go through. Need some more colors. I need to figure out the colors, right? I don't know. Is there ways? Yeah. Oh, I could change the colors, all that fun stuff. I'm gonna get good. I need to focus on my first and foremost. Let's go over my trading. So my stats, they're still being shared. So anybody who has the link, right? There's the link. Bob Ross got nothing on me. So there's the link. Let's review these stats tonight. I took a look. I take a look over the weekend, and I think sizing down is something I need to do going forward. If you guys missed it, Who remembers Thursday night with Barron? Thursday night with Barron? You guys remember that trade? Let's review that. We could review it. Here is an hourly chart. No, it was here in the NASDAQ. NASDAQ. Who remembers? Anybody remember Thursday night with Barron? My trade. My trade was a short from somewhere around here, and stop loss was up above here somewhere. And man, that sucker played out like it was beautiful. It was beautiful. I woke up, I'm like, oh dang, and I was 4 minis short. It was 4 minis short, and it just sold off. It just tanked. I woke up this morning and watched the market just sell. I was like, wow. Woulda, coulda, shoulda, right? If only we were just, yeah. It was a great trade. So let's go back to these. That's where the profits came from, and you could see how long of a trade that was. So let's review these stats. $3,700 times 5, right? Because we are copy trading, whatever that comes to. I don't know. Yeah, whatever. So like 18,000. But that's not the point. The point is not the dollar amount. Let's take a look at the rest of the statistics, right? Because it's basically I'm trading one account, right? You just have a multiplier on there. And so trading win percentage, I'm about, what is this? 2 out of every 3 trades. 2 out of every 3 trades is profitable, right? Took 33 trades and won 22 of them. And average win versus average loss, I'm just above a 1-to-1, just barely above a 1-to-1. Nice, which is perfectly fine. If you're going to trade a 1-to-1, then your win percentage needs to be at least over 50%, right? Profit factor 2.11. Anything above 1 is good, profitable. Obviously, I haven't been in this account for very long, 1 to 3 days, and so it's a small sample, so you're not going to see a lot of the data being complete. Go through. There is Coach T, your overall PLL. Keep up the good work. Some positive. So most active days Thursday. My least profitable day was Wednesday. But I think for me, when I review these statistics, the big thing is winning trade percentage, average win versus average loss. Those are the 2 big ones right here. Winning trade percentage, average win versus average loss. And now we scroll down, and the other big trades, or the big one is I'm looking at, are these groups, right? Now we're getting into like the juicy stuff, right? Average win duration, an hour, just over an hour. So just over an hour, and it primarily I think came from one of those trades. Average loss duration, 24 minutes. So that I like that. That's good. I want to be holding on to my winners a lot longer than I'm holding on to my losers. My average trade duration, on average, I'm holding on to about 50 minutes. Remember, this is a small sample size, so we're just getting a peek through the window. Very small sample size, right? 3 days worth. I like to see a month's worth to be like, yeah, okay, this is good. This is working out. But this helps at least pinpoint what's going on. Am I doing anything right? Are there any blatant things that I need to fix right now? Can I see anything that I need to fix before, getting more data? Best trade, worst trade, size. So here we go. Size is the first thing. Look, worst trade, too big of size, I think. I don't know if anybody could see it. I could zoom in. Let's see. How does that look? Let's just make sure this looks okay. There we go. So I think size, like I said, size. Short 3. Worst loss, $1,000. Best trade, just short 1. That's all. It was just one. So size is definitely important. Size is very important. There's my P&L. First day, $1,500. Second day, minus $1,200. Third day, plus $3,400. So, basically scratched those first 2 days, then ended Friday pretty strong on that great trade. Look at this. I'm not really recognizing any patterns yet. I like that I was able to hold that trade for over 4 hours. that trade for over 4 hours. Nothing too crazy. Let's look at, we could dive in depth. Let's look at these days. 4 trades, NASDAQ. These were entered at pretty close to the same time, right? I got in 3, worked out well. This one was a test. This was just a test to test out the copy trader. It worked well. This day, I was trading during power hour. This is definitely that was not a good. This was not a good day. This was Thursday, right? Where I was trading during power hour, scalping. Too big of size. This was too big of size. I was up like $400, and then scalp, took loss, and then I finished it on the high note with a couple of good trades. Right? I don't know if these are in chronological order. NASDAQ, gold. Finished off with NASDAQ. Had a good winning trade. Finished off. Then I was just done. I said, okay, down $1,200. I just need to finish it there. 3,400 on that Friday. And this was. Let's see. And all trades have been taken on air. All trades have been taken on air, or was taken while I was live on air, or placed, right? Of course, the one that I held over 5 hours, I placed it during slow markets, but then everyone knew what the plan was. Had a couple gold losses on this day. This was just the Friday. Great day. Great way to finish it. I think that's basically it. Is too big of trading. I'm trading too big of size for this account. But so far so good. Let's get to some questions. We could continue to monitor these markets. Looks like NASDAQ is breaking out and up, and buy the dip mode was already turned on for Sunday night before I could even get my cash into work. Like I said, I don't know if let's go through. Let's get some questions. Type your questions in the chat. If I missed it, just copy paste. A few fun things over the weekend. So Friday, if you missed it, I did move over some cash. I'm going to be putting that to work this upcoming week into these markets. I was looking to put it to work before we started this nice little bounce, but it looks like the market is in buy the dip mode already. Remember, anything can happen. Tomorrow's during the New York session. Let's see. I would love to see another leg down for me to get some of this cash to work. I like to sell cash secured puts. Looking to buy some, I don't do anything crazy. It's boring. I trade the will strategy. I sell cash secure puts. I buy like Nvidia and Apple and a lot of the boring stuff, to be honest. And then I am doing this day trading here at Topstep, which has been, quite the journey. And that's, like I said, it leads me to, I'm sure, what everyone's questioning. Did you find yourself pressing to make more on Friday to overcome Thursday's losses? Stephen Beck, no, it wasn't pressing to make more because I didn't trade during the New York session at all on Friday. I don't think no New York session. It was all on the slow markets. I placed the trade, but like I said, too big of size to start these combines off. Size matters. No juicy entries on NQ, please. Coach DB, since you are an experienced trader, do you trade with a little more risk than the average trader on combines, or do you still risk manage? So that's what I was saying. A little too much risk to start these combines off. Even though, and this is, give me a second. God, okay, so a little too much risk to start these combines off. And I think it's important, even though I'm profitable in these combines, there's still an area that I need to work on. And I think it's important to say, hey, even though you made money, it depends how you made that money, right? Is it sustainable? Can you do it? Can you duplicate that? So even though I'm up, $3,700 on this combine copied by these 5, do I still feel confident No, I wouldn't say I feel 100% confident because I placed too big of size. And so I'm just like, hey, take a step back. I had to take a step back for a reason, and it's because I'm struggling. And then when you and here's something I think traders need to realize. While I get some music going, let's get some music going, and then I'll tell you guys, everybody, something that traders need to realize. So let's do this. Let's get some music, and then I'll start spilling some secrets. All right, we'll get some music going. Let me know if it's too loud, chat. Let me know if it's too loud. No, we're good. We're good. That's not too loud. So let's see. Size matters. Okay, you can hear the music, right? It sounds good to me. Look at that. Stop loss was a better entry. If your stop loss was, if you were short and your stop loss was just above that, you just got NASDAQ'd. That's what I'm gonna say. You just got NASDAQ'd. Whenever the market runs your stop, that's gonna be my new saying. You just got NASDAQ'd. That's a good one. So anyway, where was I going? Where was I going with this? Hi Dakota, are you expecting a couple of red weeks? Yeah. So whenever like you're in a situation like I'm at, say you're struggling, you're like, okay, I need to take a step back and go back to a simulated account. You don't just jump into a simulated account and say, okay, everything's back to normal. I'm now gonna, be profitable, right? Or I'm done struggling. I say, okay, step back into a sim and then everything's fixed. That's wrong. That's the wrong mindset. That's incorrect. You have to realize you're in a simulated account for a reason. What is that reason? Why? Why am I in a simulated account? Why would someone be struggling and need to be in a simulated account, a sim account, right? And find that reason. And that's what I'm in the middle of doing. I'm finding out, okay, what am I doing wrong? What did I do wrong the past few months? What do I need to do better? What can I, what's wrong? Something's broken in how I've been day trading this past few months, and I need to get that fixed and become a better trader. Maybe it's the process, maybe it's the I can't blame the markets, right? Last thing a person can do is blame the markets for your bad trading. It's like, man, you've been taking losses. Don't blame the markets. The markets are, it's pointing the finger right back at you, right? You gotta look yourself in the mirror, figure out what you're doing wrong, whether it's your process, whether it's you, whether it's your motions, whatever it is. So I'm here for a reason. I'm back to these combines and I'm going through this process again in front of everybody, and everyone's seeing it as transparent as it gets, to say, okay, I don't just go back to these combines and say everything's fixed. This competition's fun, right? This competition's fun. I like it. We, MP put $10,000 on the line. Who can make $100,000? First, whoever can make it to a live account with the least amount of combines. That's all fun. That's fine. I like it. The chat, everybody here gets to vote. Coming up, tune in, TopstepTV. You get a vote. Who do you think's gonna win? And then if you vote correct, you get the the resets. And so there's entertainment, right? There's entertainment. There's education. It's fun and it's enjoyable and it's a community and we're in this together. But at the end of the day, this is me trading. I had a phone call with Hoag on Friday afternoon. I sent Hoag a message. I'm like, hey, can you give me a call on Friday? Let's just review my week. I respect Hoag, way up there, right? I have so much respect for Hoag, and he's been there. He sees me on here every single day trading. I talk back and forth with the everybody here at Topstep. I message Hoag back and forth. And he said, okay, Hoag, I'm back to these dang combines again. I don't care for showing a lot of my personal stuff, even though, and basically this is how the conversation went. I'm like, man, this day trading crap is hard. It's hard. I can't just do what I do in my personal account and just say, I lost 50,000. Let me just load my account right back up to my, my starting balance. Like say I have a $250,000 account and I lose 50,000, I can't just send $50,000 to my brokerage and say, okay, let's start over, refresh, take a step back. Of course that would be easier. Since we're at a prop firm, I have to start all the way back to a combine. And I'm like, this is difficult. I got to adjust to the daily trailing stop. I have to adjust to sizing down. I can't just send my money. It's a challenge. It's like proving myself again, which I did last year in July. And then Hoag's like, you could do this. You could do it again. And the biggest thing that me and Hoag talked about was trading in front of an audience. Like, it's a completely different story to trade by yourself and then trade in front of an audience, thousands of traders, and then showing everybody it. And then me and him was talking back and forth about this, psychological hurdles. Like, do you know how much mental capital it takes to day trade? Now, I'm not talking about my options. I'm not talking about stocks. I'm not talking about swing trading. I'm talking about what you see here on Topstep TV. How much mental capital it is to sit here and watch a chart, to do your analysis, to monitor the changing markets, because these markets are always changing every minute, every second. And then the news events that come out, right? We talk about news events. If you're tuning into Topstep TV, we have the team members, whenever there's a news event, pump that in, listening to the news, watching these markets, trying to execute, make these decisions, and then being on air, right? Where we have Hoag, we have Andre, we have like Baron or Coach J or a guest, we have MP, and then trying to keep up a conversation, trying to, read a question in the YouTube chat on top of day trading, right? So you already have so much mental capital that you're putting into the day trading. Then you have all of that, and then you just stack on top of, trying to hold a conversation and answering questions and explaining, oh, why'd you take that short? Why'd you take the long? And then you throw on doing it live in front of, thousands of people. And so it's like, pile some more on, pile some more. And you're just like burning through a full day's worth of, energy and mental capital in like an hour. And so it's so much information being thrown at you, trying to be processed, and then day trading, and then trying to be a little entertaining, right? Because no one wants to just sit here in live class and like watch some guy just like sit here. I could sit here and trade. I don't have, like, it'd probably be better for me, for my trading. Like, yeah, I'll just sit here and you guys could watch me. I'm not gonna, interact with anybody. You can just watch me trade, and I'll pretend that you're not here. It'd be boring, right? I'll just sit here in quiet, and then I place a trade. I'm not gonna like go through the effort and explain it. That would be boring. That would be boring. So it was really that kind of a conversation I had with Hoag. Now, Hoag and I talked for a good hour plus. I'm gonna continue to work with Hoag in the upcoming weeks while I go through this journey. I'm excited to. I'll be working with Hoag a lot more on figuring out, how do I get this? How do I tune back in? Like, what did I do back in July last year when I basically went through the same thing, and get back to this? Now, I went and I thought about this, and then Hoag said, well, what did you do? What did you do last year, right? And for me, last year was a little bit different. Last year, I was not struggling. I was not struggling last year. I was in the groove. I was trading well. I made one mistake, and then I switched platforms. And then I just got straight back into the groove and, made a few $100,000 to end the year off. Like I said, made that money to end the year off in the account. So last year was different, where I just make one mistake and switch platforms and start from scratch. This year, I was actually struggling. It's not like, mistake, get back into it. It's like, hey, you've been struggling for, months now. Let's get back into these combines and let's go through this journey. I'm like, yeah, I don't mind doing this. Let's do it. Let's do it. I know the audience. I think the biggest thing for me is trying to figure out this, but even more so, doing it in front of everybody, showing my journey, and hopefully helping others along the way. So if I can help the audience, and I can help the community by showing everything, what I go through, what my thought process is, to get back on track, I think that's going to be more value than just, hey, I'm just going to just do this in my personal account. So that's what I came to the conclusion of. That's where we're here. That's why we're doing that. That's why doing the trading combine, the combine counter, and then throwing in some good friendly competition. And yeah, that's the story. And remember, I did not, for all the trolls out there and all the misinformation, I did not blow my live account. I did not lose my live account. I worked with the risk management team, and the decision was made that the best course of action is to close the live account, withdraw the profits, and then start from scratch. So it's crazy how much misinformation is out there. And here we are. Infamous stacker. What is this? What is this? All right. This is my favorite. Wow, that's I like this one. Kudos to you. Where that is. Impressive. I'm saving this one. I'm saving it. We're gonna make Dakota. The music sounds like recipe videos. We're cooking. We're cooking up DBA concepts. I'm saving this. How do I save this? We're gonna save this. Let's do this. There we go. You're gonna get that tattooed on your chest. Just I can see that being like right here on the arm, right? Maybe right here on your arm. Big shout out, yeah. Love and appreciate that one. Oh, this one's getting shared for sure. That one's getting shared all over the place. We're doing this. That's a that's a good one. That is definitely a good one. There we go. There we go. Look, buy the dip. We bought those 30s. Okay. The stash, the naughty stash. What do you mean? Free combine for the first percent. Yeah. If someone got them themselves, yeah. No, I'm not gonna pressure anybody getting a tattoo of me. Look at this. Right back up. Right back up. Are we just going to have a zombie rally throughout the night? You're so out, Doomlord? Hey, if I get it tattooed on me, what do I get? Tig, I would bring you on slow markets. You'd come on slow markets with me. I'll fly out there. Wherever you're at, I'll fly out there. We'll meet up. I'll buy you dinner. Oh man, let's look at gold. It's 21 minutes past the top of the hour. Gold's continuing to sell off. Okay, I like it. We're testing 3,400. There's that big psychological number here in gold, 3,400. If we do get back down towards this, these 92s, maybe I'll be looking for some longs. Edwin, why not keep the live account and just trade micros? Don't understand. So I don't want to sit there and keep struggling, losing real money. I need to, and like I said, I talked to the risk management team and they say, hey, best course of action, let's get you back into a combine. Let's do this, for you and your trading, your day trading. And for me, more like what's just as important is like showing the traders like, this is the journey. This is what it takes sometimes where you struggle. And then showing the transparency, it also is another big one. Like, who else in this social media trading community is going to be like, hey, here's my combine number. Like, this is how many combines I'm going through. It doesn't matter how many to an extent, right? It's like, okay, maybe you take 200 combines until you start to get consistent payouts. That's fine. That's not the big issue. It doesn't matter. That's what a simulated account is there for, is for us to learn and get better. But what pisses me off is when people are not transparent and they're just showing the positive side and the green side, and like, you know, everything's all, you know, shiny and easy and you're making all this money, and they don't show the hard work and the effort that it's actually taking behind the scenes. Or they're just not transparent and they're turning and burning, you know, through, you know, sim accounts just to, you know, advertise payouts and sell something, right? So the more transparency, the better. Hopefully this, you know, pushes a lot of people to, you know, do something similar. I'm, you know, ecstatic that, you know, Jay and Baron and others could also be doing this as well. Like I said, the lower the number, I think, is more respectable, right? Man, this guy, he was able to pass in 20 combines. You know, he knows what he's doing, and he was able to do it, you know, slowly over a period of 3 months. It's like, opposed to a guy that's like, hey, I went through so many and I just was I went through 10 of them every single month. And you can only do 10 here at Topstep, which is nice. Me and Baron talked about that on Thursday. And Joy, 1,000's the low ball. What happened to Turtle? I tell you what, I just absolutely love this. Absolutely love this, man. Whoever, Infamous Stacker. Gold bleeding. Yeah, gold's starting to selling off. Coach Jay, you see that? That might be my tattoo. I don't know. That'd be kind of weird, getting a tattoo of your face. So that would be kind of weird. A tattoo of your face. A tattoo of a face. I'm gonna show up on Tuesday tomorrow with it. Tuesday. New ink. I have 0 tattoos. Oh man, you guys have you see what I did this weekend? See what I did with this weekend? This was my weekend. The unbeatable hand. You have 0 tattoos as well, Doom? That hand's just unbeatable. Why come you don't have it? Gold continue to push lower. Self-portrait tattoo is insane. Yeah, I don't think I could have a tattoo of myself. Maybe like DBA Concepts. DBA Concepts. Let's see, is NASDAQ to NASDAQ? Dakota, it would be my unbeatable. It would be. I know. I mean, that's why I played it. I was just like, hey, 6-9 of spades, 6-9 of spades, and it was just funny. It's just like, that was like the hand I won the tournament with. I'm like, how fitting is this? It just works like that. It just works like it worked out that way. It was funny. It was pretty good. Pretty freaking good. Then I went to therapy. I went to therapy on Saturday. How big was the field? It wasn't that big. It was, I think, 50. There's 50, but then there was re-entries. So I don't know what the total field was. It's probably closer to like only 100. Someone says, anyone knows? Tune in tomorrow. Tomorrow, Andrew, you got the details. You'll be voting on who you think is going to be winning. Baron or myself. Therapy should be for everybody. You know what my therapy was? This was my therapy. And I felt good. It felt good. My rib is basically just gone. There's a little bit of pain when I get hit here, but ibuprofen, and I was good to go. Ibuprofen or a couple Tylenol, and I was good to go. The heavy bag, yeah, nothing wrong. Go out, relax, go to the gym, go work out is good therapy. Gold got down to those 98s, finding some buyers. Here we go, the song. Standard. Yeah. Do I remember Scooter the DJ? I don't. Steve Beck says he has a tattoo of himself playing the guitar. That's a unique one. Let's take a look at the NASDAQ. What is the NASDAQ doing? No trades. I'm not seeing any decent trades tonight, to be honest. There might be an opportunity for a short here in the NASDAQ. That could be a possibility. But I like the short from up here compared to the short from down here. And the reason why is that higher time frame. If we look at the hourly or the daily, and the reason why I was liking the short last night compared to the short tonight was that short last night was when we were first breaking that trend, right? There's very big bearish engulfing candle, and so I was looking for some follow through, which we did get, and my follow through target was really these 180s. And then obviously this was a very stretched target, and we already got there. We got there in a day. Compared to the shorts tonight, so the fact that we are bouncing off a major support level makes the shorts compared to the other night compared to tonight. I say last night, I meant like Thursday night, comparing it to tonight. So Thursday night is a lot different than tonight's, even though we are up 0.3%, and if we do get a bit of a sell-off, I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised at all. Let's compare. This was the short that myself and when I was on with Baron, and then this is, you can see we have a lot more volatility. You see how this wasn't very volatile tonight. We're seeing a little bit more volatility, so maybe we do get like some type of a rounding type move and come back and retest these lows. But I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna be more patient. That's one of the things I made a promise to myself, is going to be being more patient going forward. I got caught up in like the on air. I'm live in front of everybody. And so if I'm streaming, I need to be placing a trade. So I'm going to, get away from that mindset and just get back to what got me there. Get back what got me to get back into like the groove, right? Just, hey, I don't mind. Guess what? Welcome to Slow Markets, everybody. If there's a trade, I'll take it. If there's not, we'll find something else to talk about. We'll see these markets. We'll talk about these markets. I'll answer questions. We'll talk about technicals. I'll help somebody if they have questions, right? And that's the reality of it. So I'm going to be taking less trades, but higher quality trades. So quality over quantity. I need to practice what I preach. This is going to be a way of doing it, and I'm doing it in front of everybody. We'll review the statistics whenever I get a chance, and yeah, going to be having. It's going to be a good one. And we have the combine counter. I'm at 5. I'm at these 5s, and maybe there's going to be. Maybe I'm not going to. I don't plan on it, but in a very rare occasion, is if I do end up losing these accounts, then do it again. And like I said, like that, the challenge. How many combines will it take me to get to a live account? Will it be 5? Will it be 10? Will it be 20? So far, we're just starting. I want to keep that number under 100. We'll keep that number under 100. Good entries make for manageable trades. Yep. Quality over quantity. There'll be always opportunities. Wider the stop. Yeah, I mean, look at that Thursday night trade, right? Where if we didn't have a wide stop, it would have ran our stop. It's pretty close, though. It's close to running the stop, but no, it worked out. And we just sold off. And here we are getting ready to test session highs. Not all-time highs. Not all-time highs yet. Who knows? Will this market recover this week? I don't know. It sold off in 2 days. Remember what happened earlier this year? Markets could go up sometimes just as fast as they could go down. The Nikkei just woke up. I haven't traded the Nikkei for a long time. Japanese market. Looking like we might be able to have some type of a breakout to the long side. Let's take a look at the gold. This time is different. We're going 10% higher. Nobody cares. Not sure what you mean by that. Look at gold, 93. Yeah, I want to see gold sell. I mean, we're right at settlement here for gold. You can see it hasn't really changed up in the left-hand side. We just a whole lot of nothing so far. We tried, rejected those, 420s. Now we're back down to 3,400. Big round number, 3,400. Maybe that's where NASDAQ is heading. Is that where NASDAQ is heading? Are we going to just have a nice march up to 23,000? Maybe. When will I do the options class? I'm not sure. I need to focus on my trading first. Okay. My trading comes first. Trading taking priority. Okay. I think what you could do is, like I said, I try my best to keep everybody up to date on the Twitterverse, on Instagram. My Instagram's pinned to the top of the chat, and then I do this hashtag slow markets. And so when I'm not on air, when I'm not on Topstep TV, that's where I'll do updates. If I do talk about options, that's where it's going to be, either on my Instagram or Twitter. But as of right now, I'm focused getting these accounts. We gotta get these. Step one. I'm not thinking about a live account right now. I'm not thinking about the $100,000 right now. I'm thinking just my very next trade. What do I need to do? My very next trade. Passing these combines to XFAs will be a byproduct of executing the very next trade. It doesn't matter whether it's, I'm going to make $500 or $1,000 or $200. Passing combines is simply a byproduct of good trading, good risk management, and following your process. That's what I need to do. That's what I need to focus on, because, yeah, that's it. And then, if I do and I get into my, get into XFAs, it's going to be the same thing. I'm not thinking a live account. I'm not thinking about making 100,000. I'm thinking about just following my process on the next trade. Nope, I don't. This is my YouTube. This is where I stream here at Topstep. If you want there is my X. I just did that. And then my Instagram is pinned to the top of chat, but it's also right there in the chat. But all the trades I do and all the trades that I'm taking is going to be on TopstepTV. Time says, this is sad. What is sad? Gil Gomes, Master Dakota, did you lose your live account, or are you authorized to have 2 live accounts? See, this is where there's so much stuff out there online, huh? I could only imagine how much drama is out there online. Once again, maybe we just post a banner. We post a banner out there for all the YouTube trolls or social media trolls that they just want to see downfall. I did not lose my live account. I worked with the risk management team, as did Baron, and made the decision to, take that step, withdraw the live account, close the live account, step back, and do that entire process over again. Post the billboard. Post it on the billboard. Breaking news. Dakota did not lose his live account. Well, it's a step. Well, I got to look at it in 3 steps, right? You have the combine, you have the XFA, then you have the live. It's not a step back in my trading. It's a step in the right direction, right? Even though it might be a step back in the process of a prop firm, it's the correct step, right? It's like, what's that saying? It's if you get on the wrong train, the best thing you need to do is get off the train because it's going the wrong direction. And then it's, yeah, because if I kept going in the same thing, it's like, who knows how long it could. It's like, the first step is like, hey, let's get this back. I don't want to lose any more live money. And then we do it again. We just do it again. How am I going to trade differently? I'm going right back to the basics. Right back to the basics. You guys seen my analysis of NASDAQ at the very beginning? If you missed it, restart the slow markets. It's at the beginning. The nice thing is it's on YouTube. It's all recorded. You go right back to the beginning and see what I'm reviewing. You can even look at my statistics, see how my trades, but it's going right back to the beginning of basically what I was doing last year. Not thinking about placing a trade, not forcing a trade, taking quality trades over quantity. Blastful says, I kind of cheesed my way passing the combine. Pull back and wreck me. Yeah, I mean, that is also something very big that everybody needs to understand is you can, I don't want to say, I don't know, cheese or gaming, or you could just blow through combines, or you could just, yeah, I don't know. Gaming, I think, is the only word that I could think of right now. Is you could game your way through a combine really quick, right? You increase your size to like 10 minis and you place the trade, and if you get it right, then it's easier to pass a combine. But the issue with that is I seen it in my VIP team. I seen it in VIP, and I see it in traders all the time. When Coach Jay and I, maybe we get back to reviewing trader statistics, is traders who pass combine using too big of size struggle in XFAs, because then it's maybe more emotional, or they end up taking a loss in an XFA where they might have got some luck, right? There's you have to admit, as much as trading is a skill because we're managing risk. There is some luck involved with trading because we do not know where these markets are going. It's just probabilities, right? And so if you increase your size and pass a combine, well, you might have, got, quote, lucky passing your combine and hit maybe a lower end of the probability with a winning trade or winning 2 days. But then when you take losses and the probabilities end up going back to normal because nobody wins 100% of the time, then you're blowing your XFA. You just blow your XFA. You're like, man, I've been on a win streak. I'm 2 weeks, like 10 winning days in a row in my XFA. I'm doing well. And then that 11th day, you just blow your account. The nice thing is when you do get payouts, unlike that you mentioned, Davey, you could take out 90% of your profits. 90% of your profits here at Topstep when traders do find that success. I know for me, right? For me, that's a big difference. For traders that do find that success, that take payouts, I love that. Give me 90%. That's why I want a live account. Gold 100 tick. Gold 100 tick. And what? Why did the music turn off? What's going on? Greg, you never know. I know. I switched to the combine, and the moment I switched to a combine, NASDAQ sold off. NASDAQ sold off when I switched. Well, I took the step back, and NASDAQ reacted. When did I switch to a combine? I switched to there. That's why the NASDAQ's selling off. Is that what we're getting at? I'm on my second combine. Got a payout with this one. It's not hard to get a payout. It's hard to actually trade the way the combine let you trade. Dakota, how long did it take you to become profitable at the very beginning of your trading journey? So, the beginning of my trading journey, here at Topstep is different than my trading journey since I ever started trading. I've been trading out of like high school and college, and this is over 14 years ago, and it did take me 4 or 5 years to feel comfortable where I could say, yeah, I'm finding consistent success in the markets. There wasn't an exact day where I'm like, hey, this is I'm now successful or I'm now consistent. It was more of like, yeah, I don't know how to explain that. It wasn't like an aha moment. It wasn't like an aha day. It was like a long grind. It's like, how do you know when you're older, right? It's like, man, I don't want to get older. And it's like, how do you know when you're older? Do you just like wake up one morning and you have wrinkles, right? You don't just wake up one morning and instantly have wrinkles. It's like you see yourself in the mirror so frequently, but then when you see somebody that you haven't seen for like a year, they're like, oh wow, you've gained weight. I was like, what do you mean? I don't think I've changed. But then someone you haven't seen in a month, they could tell the difference because they don't see you very frequently. I think it's something like that. When you start to play sports with kids half your age, then you start to realize, yeah, I don't think it's an exact moment. I think it's more of a slow realization. When the collagen in your neck changes. Let's wait for that psych level. Let's watch gold. I'm still not seeing any trades that I'm liking. Nothing's really setting up tonight. It is Sunday night. It's the beginning of the week. Don't want it to get too straight. That was a nice buy in these 90s. These 90s here in gold. That's all right. There's always going to be more opportunities. Oh, you know what this week is too? Start of the VIP team. Start of the VIP team. Shout out to Pop Squad. Ooh, it's time. It starts. The new. Oh wow, look at this. Should I give a sneak peek? Should I give a sneak peek at my VIP team? Yeah, sure. Why not? Here, 1 second. Let's see. Here's the sneak peek. VIP, everyone who is in the VIP. Shout out to you. VIP Pop Squad VIP. If you missed it, there's gonna be another season. Just stay tuned to the day show. Pop Squad VIP. You guys are in there. You are in there. Wow. Golden names too. Golden names. Everyone who got in is now your enemy. It's called VIP for a reason, right? If everybody was in, it wouldn't be a VIP. But there's, tens of thousands of traders and only 50 could make it. And then there's many teams, right? So what, 550 total? Some of the people in the team was sad that they wasn't able to make it last season. Now they're in here this season. So I'll do a welcome email here, or a welcome message in Discord soon. Yeah, VIP is not Costco. Nope. It's like the expensive restaurant, or the, I don't know what a good comparison to Costco is. Doomlord. You're stocked for this season? Or stoked? I'm with Jack Senior, Bull Brigade. That's a good one, Jin. Wow, you made it. Jack Senior. Jack Senior is the man I looked up to when I first got into the Topstep Discord. I'm like, man, this guy has experience. You have gotta pay the bills. Paying the bills. Yeah, I pay the bills with my trading. You're on Hoag's team? See, look, there's people in here that's made the VIP teams. But I think that's it. It's Sunday night. Sundays, usually only an hour long, but I went past that. It's been longer than an hour. So anyway, I think we could finish it here. I think we could finish it here there. I was in Coach Jay's team last season. It's a fantastic journey. It's amazing. The VIP team, I could see what's going on in the other VIP teams, and they're each unique in their own way, each of the VIP teams, and they each offer an amazing experience, and definitely worth staying around until the next season too. Like if I was new to trading, honestly, I would be, learning at a prop firm like Topstep. I would be tuning in, watching what others are finding success in, learning, because it's so much cheaper than putting $10,000 of your own money and trying to learn. 10,000 is just a random number I just thought in my head, but putting your own money into these markets rather than paying like what, $50 or $100 and trying to learn yourself. It's cheaper. It's better. Think of it. I've always think it's, you need to look at it like an education, right? Traders who find success, you compare like how much money can somebody make in trading, right? Where if you make $100,000 a year, you're making more money than, man, what, 1% of the world? And I'm saying the world, not just here in the US. But if you're making $100,000, I think that's 1% of the world. And depending on where you're at from around the world, right? That's huge. That's money that, you know, people with, you know, bachelor's and doctor or, you know, master's degrees make. I know a lot of people that have their master's degree that, you know, may make $100,000. Maybe they make less than $100,000. And then in day trading, you see traders make, you know, $150,000 in a year, $200,000 in a year. I made, you know, just under $500,000 in a year here at Topstep. And, you know, how much is a doctor's wages? You know, a doctor here in the United States doesn't always make $500,000, right? And so how much time and effort did a doctor put in to get that degree, right? A doctor puts in years and years of hard work and education. And you got to understand, like, this is kind of what it is. You need to take a look at this as, like, you got to put that same level of dedication, hard work in. You can't just, like, show up and just say, hey, okay, I'm successful. I am now a trader, and do that. Yeah. Someone says the global average salary is $17,000. Yeah, I'm not referring just to the bubble that I live here in the United States, but we have traders from around the world, and you know, the quality of life differs depending on where you're at from around the world. You can imagine some places where if you're making a $5,000 payout in a month, you're living, that's the upper class in some places. And so it's always good to put it in perspective wherever you're at from around the world, and understand that this isn't just an overnight get rich thing. It's not going to take you a week, a month. It's a journey. You got to take it like, I'm going to college. I'm here to learn. I'm here to study, and I'm here to get better. And everyone's going to go through that. Yeah, and the doctor still has to pay doctor fees, right? The doctor is going to be in debt quite a bit, right? And so when you're paying for an education, you're going to be paying a whole lot more money than what it would take to pay, you know, versus, you know, $50 and free Topstep TV. So, and this Discord and the VIP experience if you could get in. It's crazy, right? And then you could trade from wherever you want around the world. If you have an internet connection, you could trade. Coach Jay and I, if me and him travel to, like, I don't know, the Bahamas or Bali or somewhere, hey, we have internet connection, we could trade. So I'm going to leave it at that, everybody. I will see you tomorrow for slow markets. Like I said, this week for me is used for dedicating, trading, getting better. Yeah, it starts again. See you, everybody. Bye.